Hey guys, I'm Andrew Davidson and welcome back to another As Per My Ability video. If you like what we do here at As Per My Ability, if you like our content, if you like board games, if you like watching content about board games on YouTube, then As Per My Ability is probably a channel that you're going to want to keep on your radar. We publish content every week, whether if it be an audio segment on our podcast on the website, a blog, which is obviously written format, or videos such as the video you're watching right now. We do something every week, typically on Tuesdays. If you want to get involved, do all the fun YouTube stuff, comment, like, subscribe, smash the like button because that really helps the YouTube algorithm. And obviously just leave a comment and maybe we can get to know each other. And of course, we do appreciate those of you that do follow the program, watch the videos, consume our content every single week. We appreciate everything that you guys do to help our channel grow. Every few months, I try to put up a video that is what I've been playing lately. The original idea for the video was to be basically something to break up the longer videos that I do. Sometimes I do videos that are 20-30 minutes long. And so the point was to kind of ease some of the work on my end to do little short videos. That's never happened. No, it's never happened. Well, I'm back again with another What I've Been Playing video. I always promise that it's going to be short, but I'm going to just stop making promises because they're never short. It's been a couple of months since I did the last one back in January when I was up all night and in my PJs. You should go check that video out if you want to see me not wearing this, but wearing my pajamas. So yeah, today's video is another What I've Been Playing Lately video. Unfortunately, I do want to do a little bit of bookkeeping before we get into the sweet intro and then we get into the actual video. I have 3 games that I'm going to be talking about in this video. You're not going to want to miss my thoughts of what I've been playing lately. First things first, after I gave my whole spiel about subscribing and becoming a fan of As Per My Ability, I do have to say that the video content from here on out might be a little spotty, at least for a little while. The reason behind that is that I'm working on a project for As Per My Ability, and it's a written project. I don't want to talk too much about it because I really don't know how to pitch what it is. As far as I can tell, it's one part narrative, so it's like a short story, and it's one part top 5 list of board games that are tied into the short story. It's obviously written by me, it's put together by me, it's still being done by me. I will release a audio video version of it, like a podcast version of it, but the project has turned out to be, regrettably, a bigger project than I thought it would be. And that's a huge maybe. You know, it all depends upon what kind of time I have available with my own work schedule and school schedule, just everything that is in my life that's not As Per My Ability, that's not gaming related, and just the balancing act of time. Because we all know that time is fleeting and you never get it back. So, having said that, let's roll the sweet intro so we can get into the video and stop wasting time. You guys can get back to living your lives. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for sticking with this video. Thank you for clicking on it, and thank you for spending your time, which we just talked about being very precious and very valuable, with me. Without further ado, like I said, I have 3 games that I've been playing lately that I would like to show off to you. I'm going to talk about them for a little bit. I always promise that the video will be short. It will probably not be short, but I'm going to try. The first game I want to talk about, I actually got a few games in back-to-back almost with 2 different game groups, and it went over like gangbusters. It's called Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition. Now this is basically a child version of Terraforming Mars, the actual full game. Now Terraforming Mars is where you're working competitively against the other players to terraform Mars to get points by raising the oxygen, putting some water on the planet, and also raising the heat so that we can have, plants and animals and human beings, and we can live on Mars. It was a big, grandiose game designed by Jacob Frixilus. I actually interviewed him. He's a really cool guy. And there's a bunch of expansions for it. But the game became a little bloated. Now, I still do enjoy pulling out, the original Terraforming Mars, but it's a pretty bloated game if you want to sit down and play a game you're going to be playing for a long time. Unfortunately, because of what's going on in my life right now, I don't have a whole lot of consistent gamers. I'm usually teaching new people, new friends, new faces, new names, and Terraforming Mars is not really it's not a gateway game at all, and so I haven't really had a chance to play it. However, I put it down, Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is more of like the card game version of Terraforming Mars, the original game. Plays in about 60 minutes. It's a action selection game, very akin to Puerto Rico, where there are 5 phases or actions that you can take that everyone will reveal. I want to take action 1, which is maybe draw a card, let's say. I want to take phase 2. Someone over there, so Mr. Bill takes phase 2, or 3, or 4, or 5. You only get to pick 1. And only the phases that people pick are the ones that are activated that round. So if you pick phase 1, which is draw a card, everyone gets to draw a card. Now I get a bonus, maybe I get to draw 2 cards because I picked phase 1. I wanted phase 1. It was supposed to be for me. But everyone gets to do the phase that's been selected. So similarly, I get to do phase 3 that Mr. Bill picked, which might be doing something with like production or moving resources around. I get to do that as well. Mr. Bill gets the bonus because they're the ones that picked that phase, but I still get to kind of glom onto what they're doing. And that's essentially how the whole game runs. The rest of it works the same way as Terraforming Mars does, as far as you're raising the heat, you're putting oxygen in the air, and you're putting some water, oceans on the planet. It plays in 60 minutes. It's a lot easier to teach. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I played it twice in a row with 2 totally different groups, and it was a blast with both groups. So Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition is one that's been hitting my table over the last couple of weeks. The next game that I want to talk about is about 4 years old. It's by Portal Games, and I remember seeing videos of it on YouTube. It was marketed as a 4X game in an hour. Now, I'm not going to go into what 4X is and what all that means. All you need to know for this video is that if someone says that it's a 4X game, you're going to be there until next Tuesday. They're long games. They are quite complicated most of the time. I'd say probably 98% of the time they're complicated games because they have a lot of moving parts. And there's a lot of different ways to win the game. There's probably 4 ways to win the game if it's a 4X game. Well, Portal Games said, well, why don't we do just a card game, just a basic card game. We give it that 4X feeling. We give it that scratch that 4X feeling, but we make it play in about an hour. What if we do that? And they did. Now I'm going to have some trouble getting this in the shot, so bear with me. It's called Alien Artifacts. And so that's what it looks like. I'm trying to get the microphone. Alien Artifacts. Like I said, published by Portal Games. I'm going to put it down because it is a large box, even though all it is a couple of oversized cards and then just regular sized cards. That's really all that's in the box. In Alien Artifacts, you are a space futuristic faction. There's a bunch of factions you can pick from. Their setup is different, so you start the game a little differently. And they do have some asymmetrical power, so I guess that's worth mentioning. In Alien Artifacts, you are basically running this faction. So you're going to be exploring new planets. You're going to be building new research technologies. You're going to be building ships and attacking. You've got all your 4 X's in this very streamlined card game. Now, before I get into any of the praise about this game, because there is a little bit of praise I'd like to give out for Alien Artifacts, I just want to rip it into shreds. The rule book for Alien Artifacts is terrible. Terrible. For example, I can't remember, I think we were looking up some question that someone had, and it basically just kind of repeated the question back to us. And saying, like, to do this, to, like, I'll make something up. To do a production phase, make sure that you do a production phase or something. It was just like, this is terrible. It's a garbage rule book. There are some videos on the YouTubes that are just much better at explaining what can you do on your turn, what does it mean to do this, or what do these cards mean. So the rule book is terrible. Other than that, I found the game quite pleasurable. Now, I've only played Alien Artifacts as a 2-player game. It goes from 2 to 5. I would not play this game as more than a 2-player game. I kind of feel like it's a really quick, I go, you go, I go, you go. It's, you know, you don't really gain a whole lot, like a lot more entertainment value because you have a 3rd player. In fact, that 3rd player, the only thing they're doing is just they're just causing your game to go 3 times as long. So Alien Artifacts, really good 2-player game. It's quite interesting. I've only played it a couple of times. The first time, of course, was just a botched job because you're trying to figure out the rules with an absolutely deplorable rule book. So there's that. And then I played it the second time where we had things figured out, and it's a fun, cute little 4X game that plays in about an hour, especially if you're playing with 2 players. Another downside to the game is the cards. The cards in Alien Artifacts, they often repeat themselves. There'll be different name, like this card will be called something, and this card will be called something differently, but essentially they do the same thing. Like I'll give you an example. A lot of the ships, and this is true of all the cards, like the planets, the technology, the ships, they all kind of have their own, oh, this adds +1 to your combat value. This one is called something else, and the artwork looks a little different, like maybe the color of some of the hull of the ship is different, and it's called a different name, but what is its ability? It gives you +1 to your attack. There's a lot of repeat cards in the base game. While I do recommend the base game and I am giving it a thumbs up, I did have fun with it. I do think it is fun. I will play it again. I'm looking forward to playing it again. I think this has a literal shelf life for me. I think Alien Artifacts, because of just seeing so many of the same cards, even though the names are a little different, so many of the same abilities, I think the replayability for this game is probably somewhere between, depending on your temperament, between 5 and 8 games. If that is something that is worthwhile for you, check out Alien Artifacts. I really enjoyed it, but it does have a shelf life. I probably will be getting rid of it at some point in my life where I will just play the snot out of it and just be like, I'm never really going to need to play this game again because the replayability is pretty low. There are a couple of expansions that are just cards. They're just mini expansions. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what's in them. but maybe it's something that you would want to look into if you enjoy Alien Artifacts. Maybe they add more randomness, more unique cards. I hope they do. That would be awesome. That's exactly what the game needs. So the two downsides is the rulebook's terrible, and that there's a lot of the replayability is very, very low. But on the other hand, I'm pretty easy on games. It was pretty fun to sit with another player, just two players, and I really enjoyed myself. It was an enjoying evening, so maybe that factors into it. Alien Artifacts, I would recommend it. The last game that I want to talk about, I don't even have the box with me. It is currently at a friend's house where it is going to probably reside while we play it because it is a legacy game or a campaign game. However, I do have the rule book, so I am going to hold up the rule book. It's called Vampire the Masquerade Heritage. Here's the rule book for it. Vampire the Masquerade, as far as I know, is based on a role-playing game from quite a long time ago, and this board game is a kind of a board game successor of the role-playing game. I'm not actually sure. I don't know anything about the role-playing experience of Vampire the Masquerade. But Vampire the Masquerade Heritage is a quite interesting game. You are playing, like I said, it's a legacy game. You are playing, I believe, 21 games over the course of the 14th century all the way up to the 20th century because you're vampires. So why not? Why not just live throughout all these centuries? And as you play through the games, the storyline becomes updated, the artwork becomes updated, the individuals that you see that you can unlock and stuff become updated. There's actually like vampire hippies at one point when you get to, that's not really a spoiler, who cares? But essentially, Vampire the Masquerade Heritage is a drafting game. On your turn, there's going to be like a tableau of cards available of people for you to draft into your clan, I suppose, your vampire clan. And when you draft them, they will have certain markers in the corner that affect the board states. And you're essentially fighting over 3 different board states to try to collect points at the end of the game. If you win the end of the game, you get certain special abilities. If you don't win, you get to unlock some cards to add to your deck to help you be able to play. They're called scheme cards. You can play 1 scheme card per turn. Normally, scheme cards aren't played every turn, but if you get enough in your hand, you can have enough variability to be able to play a lot of scheme cards. So it's kind of a catch-up mechanic, I suppose. You also put stickers on cards, so you're doing all the legacy things. You're upgrading the people in your cards. You get to carry some of them over. Your clan sticks around. Some of them sticks around for the next century when you get into the next set of games. But yeah, essentially, this is a drafting game that also comes with some territory fighting. I don't want to spoil too much because the boards change out as you go. So there's some territory fighting. There's also the morality of your clan, of whether they think, like, if it's a high or low, it's depending on how many points. If it's low, you get negative points. If it's high, you get positive points. I'm going to stop there. I don't want to ruin everything because, like I said, the boards get swapped out and then you have something totally new as you're moving, like literally moving through time. It's a really cool game. So far, I have not played. We're not even halfway through at the time of recording this, but I've really enjoyed the experience of kind of understanding what Vampire the Masquerade Heritage is, what it can do, and how to break it, how to use your powers at the right time, how to hit those schemes at the right time, how to be able to draft, hate draft. And there's also some missions you can accomplish that give you points. Do I worry about those, or do I worry about building my own little tableau of vampires? And it's a really interesting game. It hasn't worn off on me yet. I guarantee it probably will with 21 plays. We'll see. But it has not worn off on me yet. I am still, like I said, trying to min-max and like figure out how this engine works and how I can break it to maximize my points. So, fun game so far. Well, there you have it. The 3 games, that's what I've been playing lately. Terraforming Mars, the card game version, Alien Artifacts, which is a 4X card game, and Vampire the Masquerade Heritage, which also is kind of a card game. It's a card drafting game, but there are some boards involved as well. There's some area control and other mechanisms that go on, but essentially it's a drafting game. That's what I've been playing. So that's everything. That's all that I have for us today. Once again, my name is Andrew Davidson. You've been watching As Per My Ability, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you at the next video.